Hello everyone, in this video I want to talk about hydrogen bond donors and acceptors, how many bonds it'll donate, how many bonds it will accept in each of the nitrogenous bases. This is something that comes up in the MCAT, and so I definitely want to go over how do you know how many hydrogen bond donors or acceptors guanine has, cytosine has, adenine has, thymine, and uracil. So let's begin. So for guanine, remember that the structure, the way that I remember it is guanine. So it has an oxygen in it, like guanine, oxygen. And that's how I remember kind of the structure. Another thing that I think I put until the end is look at the number of ends that it has. In other words, guanine has 2 ends, so that means it has 2 rings. And so that helps me remember that at least it has 2 rings. Okay, another thing for guanine is I remember that it is a giver. So it donates more than it accepts. So it has 2 donors and 1 acceptor. And again, if you look at the bottom, you see in green that I have the 2 donors, and oxygen is going to be the acceptor, so it has 1 acceptor. So for cytosine, on the other hand, I already gave you a sneak peek. The way I remember cytosine, I remember child. Why child? So children usually are really selfish. So what happens is that it's going to have the opposite. It's going to have 1 donor and 2 acceptors. Again, it's going to accept more than it gives. So if you look at the top, again, it's going to have what is in blue is going to be the acceptors, and what is in green is going to be the donor. So again, if you remember that guanine is the giver, meaning it has 2 donors and 1 acceptor, and that cytosine is the child, that it's 1 donor and 2 acceptors, then you just have to remember that the rest of them is 1 and 1, which makes it really easy to actually study, because then you know, okay, all I need to remember are these 2, and the rest I can remember is 1 donor and 1 acceptor. Now, another way that you can remember cytosine other than child, I don't know why, but my brain, like if you think of selfish, it kind of sounds like a C instead. I mean, it does sound like an S, but it also could be cell, like a cell, CELL. So again, that's another mnemonic that you can use to remember that cytosine is selfish. It's going to be accepting too. Now, for the structure-wise, again, I already showed you the hint of the number of N tells you the number of rings. If you think about thymine, jumping to thymine, thymine, it begins with a T. So why is that important? It has 2 oxygens. The T stands for 2. 2 what? 2 oxygens. And the M stands for a methyl. And again, a methyl, if you look at organic chemistry, it's going to be a CH3, which is this group right here. So again, it's going to have that. And uracil is going to be really easy. Why? Because it's the RNA version. And so just remember, it's the same thing as thymine, just take off the methyl. So if you look, it's the same structure without the methyl group. Now, adenine, on the other hand, how are you going to remember adenine, guanine, and cytosine? Well, I kind of already told you for guanine, just remember guanine, so it's going to have the oxygen. Again, guanine and adenine both have 2 ends, so they have 2 rings. So I guess the main difference that you can see is that guanine has oxygen, which again, if you say guanine, you'll remember it has oxygen. So it's kind of very similar in structure, as you can see. If you look here, you have your amine and you have your amine here. So the main difference I can see is the oxygen. For cytosine, on the last nitrogenous base that I haven't talked about the structure, if you look at it, it does look a lot like uracil, except instead of having an oxygen, you're going to have an extra NH2 or amine. I hope you enjoyed this video. At least help make it a little easier to remember the donors and the acceptors. And if you like it, please like, follow, share, and thanks again for watching.